Greetings, welcome back to PinkOddBird. My name is April and I'm so excited to be a part of this amazing junk journal retreat for Christy and Monique. Thank you guys so much for inviting me along amongst all these other amazing creators. And today what I thought that I would do for my video is, traditionally, I know when we're online and we're searching on how to do things and how to make things, I thought that I would do something a little bit different. If you don't know me, being a little bit different, off kilter is my vibe. And so if that's your vibe too, then I invite you to give me a follow and just hang out, tag along and see whatever happens on this crafty journey. So today what I thought that I would do is, instead of showing you how to make something or how I would make something, I'm going to show you how I would alter something that I've already made that I feel needs a bit of a rehaul. So I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes in crafting and creating, we have a vision and you're like, yeah, that's it. That's the idea. And I don't think that anything is a mistake because everything can be resolved. Everything can be fixed. So I think what I would like to do for these, I have two of them, so I might keep saying these or this, but I have two of these books that I made and I've shown them twice on my channel, and these were just, something about these books didn't hit for me. And so I'm like, well, back to the drawing board, right? Because sometimes that's what we have to do as artists, right? So today I'm going to show you, well, in more videos on my channel, I will be rehauling the inside of these books. They're traditionally meant to be like Grinchy, kind of like Scrooge themed, darker vibes, Christmas books. So I'm gonna, on my channel, I will be redoing the inside of these books to make them fit the new theme that I have in mind for these books, because it's already been a lot of work on these books and I don't necessarily want to like take the signatures out and redo them and da-da-da-da. So I'm gonna alter around what's already been done. And there's nothing wrong with this. I feel like this is hopefully going to be something that's helpful to a lot of you, because I know sometimes I get a lot of comments of people who are like, oh, I don't feel confident in this, or I don't know if I'm doing this or this. I always say create from within, and everything that you make will be authentic and original to yourself. And so I love these books and I really loved the idea and the premise of these, me personally, but aside from, I do craft a lot for fun, I also use this as a business. This is a business for me. And so I am going to rehaul these with you guys. Today, what we will be doing is not the insides, but we will be rehauling the cover of this book. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so thank you for bearing with me on the long intro there. I know some of you guys might be new to me, so I just wanted to give you guys a nice little synopsis. So my book, I don't know, what do we have? 3 signatures here. So I'm just gonna open it up to the midway point so that I can get myself nice and flat on the cover here. As flat as I can. And I did a hollow back cover on this book. I'm actually now remembering. So this is a hollow back, and as you can see, like I was telling you, this is supposed to be like a darker Christmas vibe, and I really love this fabric so much. It's like a velvet, and then it has like little owls in here and reindeer, stars and snowflakes and shooting stars. I do still really love this fabric, but I think I want to take this book in the direction of enchanted forest now. So to do that, I'm going to start off by I've got this beautiful like crushed and sparkly sort of velvet type fabric, and I think the first thing that I'm going to do is put some of that right here on my back cover, maybe something like this. And obviously it's not going to be coming over into the front. I'll show you what I'll be doing there. So again, we're kind of doing like a workaround. We're sort of giving this a little bit of a mild rehaul. So I'm just going to cut myself a piece down here. All right. And I think this is a good testament also to just never give up. You know, sometimes you just might want to just go back to the drawing board and see what happens from there. So I like I said, I'm going to do kind of like Enchanted Forest. So I do want this, if you want yours, if you're doing this, something similar to what I'm doing, and you want yours to be a little bit more even Steven, as I like to say, then use your rotary cutter and measure precisely. On my channel, I'm super chill Bill, and I just like to go and create organically, properly, structurally sound, but organically. So I want mine to be a little bit rattered. Like I said, it's Enchanted Forest, so I want there to be some unevenness, and I am going to let this hang off the edges just a little bit, ever so slightly. You know, I think that's one of the great things about creating, is nothing is a mistake. It just always gives you an opportunity to, you know, go back and enhance something. And sometimes, you know, many times that's happened to me. And in the end, it comes out even better than you originally ever even thought that it would or could. So at this point, and I'm not concerned about letting this go all the way over to the other side. I'm not really concerned about that. I'm going to take my fabric glue and start by gluing down here. Right on the top of that spine. And then I know you're probably like, oh, it's not all the way glued down. That's correct. I wanted to get it in place first where I wanted it to be placed. Now I'm going to just take a little bit more and really make sure this edge has enough glue on it. So this piece is nice and down. And I'm going to flip it back here like this. Now on our spine, we do have this little ledge where there's a crease. So I want to focus there first. So I'm going to put any glue here on top of the spine first to make sure that's all glued down. And then I'm going to run a bead of glue right into the crevice because we want that to stay down. And then I'm going to also glue about 1/4 inch to the left of the crevice. The key here for me is doing this in small increments because this glue dries really, really fast. And if you try and do it all at once, you're just going to have a disaster, probably a bigger fun problem to fix. We'll just say a bigger fun problem to fix. All right, so we're going to burnish down. You can use your bone folder for that to make sure it really gets in there. Pull this back again. And now we can start gluing bigger chunks and a light press. I really hope that you guys will find this helpful. Like I said, you know, a lot of times we see how to do this and how to, you know, we always anticipate everything is going to go perfectly and always going to go just how we imagined it, and it just doesn't. And so I'm here to tell you that is okay. Please don't let it discourage you. Keep going. We're crafting. It's art. Everything is okay. All right. And then make sure that I can glue this down fully and totally to the edge. And then I might actually, with this free edge, I might run it just along the actual free edge, like the edge of the free edge. I'll show you in a second. And this glue, it's tricky because we're gluing on fabric, so we have to act fast because the glue dries fast, but also this fabric is really soaking in my glue. Stop it, fabric. All right, boom, there we go. Okay, now that's had a few seconds to dry. Now I'm going to, the reason why I'm going to do this next step is because traditionally we fold our fabric over, right? So in this case, we're not going to be folding the fabric over, but I still want it to have kind of like a little bit of a cupped look. And I don't really want this to run the risk of falling off the cover of the book. And then I'm going to repeat on all 3 edges. So we've got all 3 edges covered. And then I'm just going to kind of run my fingers like this, just to even it out a little bit at the bottom and at the sides. I want it to be like tucked. Like, you know how you tuck your sheet into the bed, but some of it's sticking out. I want it to have something like that kind of an effect. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be what you want it to be. And this is what I want. Okay, great. So this is where we're at so far. I love how it's looking already. Now, I know you're probably like, what kind of cover is this? Half and half. Well, we're not done yet. So I'm going to open back up to my center point. Next, I want to layer on top of this a little bit of my little velvet spiderweb fabric. And this is going to be a little tricky Mickey for me to... Oh, it's so pretty in person. I wish you guys could see. You have, this fabric has like marbled discolorations to it, which is why I love it. And when you add this little piece over it, it just deepens it and makes it so mysterious looking underneath. I love it. Woo! Okay, so let's go ahead and cut a little piece of this down. Again, I'm gonna make sure mine is nice and rattered and tattered. I don't want it to be perfect. A lot of times you'll hear me say that on my crafting channel because I truly believe that, you know, it depends on the project. If I'm creating something that's like from like within that I want to create and I want it to have a certain look, I think personally, I love things that are not perfect because it's very much a reflection of myself. So, now if I'm doing a specific project that requires me to have some level of precision, I can do it. I can and have and will do it. But, you know, I like the shabby kind of organic look and feel of things like this. Okay, so now we're looking so good. Okay, so I'm going to glue this piece down. I'm going to cut this little border piece off here. I'll be gluing this down because glue is going to want to seep through. So I think the trick is being, you know, very light-handed, very cautionary when you're gluing this down. Just don't saturate your fabric and just go in small segments. You can see how I'm doing it here, and I do want to make sure I really focus on that crevice, and boom, like so, boom. All right, gently, gently. We just need it to kind of be held in place for now because I have one more thing I'll add. Now for this main piece on the back side, I'm really going to go scarcely. So like right here where there's a lot of the webbing and it's kind of like more hidden, I'll add some there. And it looks like there will be some here. I'm trying to reduce the level of glue webs that you're going to see. I like the velvet webs. I don't need glue webs. So in addition to that, what I'm going to do is make sure that the edges are glued really, really well. I hope everybody's been enjoying the retreat so far, seeing what everybody has offered up for them. I know there's so many talented people in this, so I'm very honored to be a part of it. So I hope that, you know, you guys are enjoying it and learning lots of new things and tips from the whole big variety of creators that are here. It's a really cool event that they have placed together. All right, so we have that crease done and our edges, and I am happy. This fabric is not going anywhere. Next, I've got some of this really amazing Persian like faux fur, and here is going to be for my spine. All right, woo! It's looking so lavish already, and I love it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this down to about the height of my spine. Cool. Oh, you guys, this is going to feel so good in the hand. I think I might want it this way. Yeah, I want it this way. Awesome. So this is just about the perfect width for my spine. I think so. It is just a little bit over. Now my question is here, Do I want to trim it down a little bit or not? And I think the answer is no. I think the answer is no. All right, so let's go ahead and commit to this. I'm gonna start by focusing on the very middle of the spine, starting from the very top, and I'm not gonna be focusing too much on the side edges just yet. I'm gonna go back over those. And again, you like to do this in small segments and place. What a transformation, huh? Okay, let's keep going. And I am going to get a little bit more heavy-handed with the glue because I really want to make sure this stays and we don't have to worry about any glue seepage through this little faux fur. Awesome. So I'm going to give this a couple seconds to dry, and then I'm going to go in and see what I would like to do about the side edges. Okay, so after some inspection and taking a look at it, what I've decided to do is I'm going to just come in and give myself a nice chunk of glue into the crevice here. And at the same time, I'm going to come back and do about 1/4 of an inch for the rest of it. And of course, because this little piece is a little bit of a thicker fabric, I just want to make sure I really like press and get that in there. Now it looks like it's seamless. It's part of the book. Perfect. Let's do the other side. Perfection. Perfect. Perfect. Woo! I love it. I'm so excited. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a pause, let this dry, and we'll be right back. All right, so next step, I want to change this cover image completely. So I have this little forest imagery here, and I think this is going to be the new cover for this book. I also, what you haven't seen, I did this in another video that's already up on my channel, is I made these gilded frames. And so it's got like gold gilding and gold gilded paint and flowers and buttons. This is going to be my new cover. So it's going to be this big frame. And I want to use this image instead now. And so I think I want to find a good, I think that looks perfect right there. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down a little bit. And I want to make sure that I don't have any of the image sticking off on the sides there. So it looks pretty good. Okay, so I don't think I need to cut it down any further. And I think what I am going to do though, to make it look a little bit more like encased, I'm going to take my distress ink and I'm going to use Vintage Photo. And I'm just going to, let me move this out of the way. I love creating a small working space. Okay, I'm just going to kind of run it through like this. And I'm doing it a lot further in than the actual edge because the actual edge is not going to show. So I don't really need to do it. I just want it to look kind of, you know, foggy inward, and then you can kind of place this down and see. Yeah, so yes. And I need to do a little bit more here at the bottom where the dress is. Perfect. I'm going to get this image glued onto the frame. I've got some of this little black trim from my stash here. And I think what I want to do is, yeah, give this a little bit of a border here. So I'm going to make sure I have a clean edge here, like this, and I'm just going to glue a little border. And I'm just going to repeat that on all 4 sides. I'm sorry, on 3 sides. All right, so our cover, we're almost done. Our cover, our frame should now be just about ready. Let me first, one thing at a time. Let's get the cover glued officially down. So I'm going to add a bunch of glue here. And then for extra security, I will use the fabric glue around the edge to make it really make sure it stays, just in case some of this actually lands on the fabric. Okay, so the next thing I think I'm going to do is add that same trim to the front cover. So I'm going to repeat all the steps that I did on the previous side. All right, and so there we have it. The front is now covered with that same trim as on the back side. And I kind of think there's one more thing I want to add here, so let me see. So since we're going with our beloved Enchanted Forest theme, I think I might want to add a little bit of moss. I think. So I know this is where we start getting into, am I doing too much land? But we can always place this down and kind of just take a look at it and see and gauge it. Like, is it needed? Is it necessary? Or do I need to just step away? So I got a little bit of that brighter green going there. And then I kind of want some of this brownish because it kind of complements the image, and I don't think I want too much of this because I feel like it might start blending in and looking a little strange. So maybe just like some little bits. And maybe just a tinge up at the top. And then I might take some of this other green here, a little bit more delicate of a moss on that one. Let it roam around up there, just a small bit. A little bit more here. I don't know, I think I like it just like that. Okay, cool. Now, what I think though is I'm going to take first my vintage photo, and I think I want to kind of pipe down some of these greens here just a little bit. Pipe them down, they're very strong and vibrant. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my black soot and just dab some of that on there also to make it look a little bit more grungy. There we go. Yes. Yes, yes, and yes, please. You probably don't see it much on camera, but it is making a difference. And let's do a little bit of this. You can probably use sprays on this if you have distressed sprays. You could probably also do that, but I just don't want to take it too overboard. I still want them to look a little green. I just want them to be a little bit toned down a little. All right. Let's glue all this in. I feel like I should be okay to use probably I'm going to say probably the fabric glue for these. So I'm just going to glue in some of the areas here, right into the corner, and then up on over here how I had it. And just place these in. Okay, I think we're done. I think this cover is done. It's fully revamped. And let's go ahead and close it on up. Wow. Wow, what a difference. Okay, let me show you. This is what we started with. All right. It looked just like this. This is what we now have. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. And I hope that it gives you encouragement and shows you that nothing is unfixable. That is literally my motto. Everything can be fixed. Nothing is unsolvable. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this. I don't want to call it a tutorial. It's really just more like a crafting with me, experimenting, you know, a redesign, a rehaul. And I don't know, I really, really love the way this turned out now, you guys. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to subscribe. It is free to subscribe to my channel, and it does help me out when you subscribe, like, when you even view, comment. I respond to every comment, even if it takes me like 3 years, I will respond. But I definitely appreciate all of you guys for being here and taking the time to check out all the creators in this retreat. Thank you again, Christy and Monique, for inviting me to this. I've had such a blast, you know, and I felt like this would be a really nice little session to do on this particular event. So I hope that you guys have all found it helpful. And I think that is going to wrap it up for me for now. Be sure to stay tuned, because you never know what direction this odd flock of ours is heading into. And until next time, toodaloo.